Welcome everybody to Mind Prosperity, where we believe that wherever your mind goes, your life will follow. And today I'm so excited to have Kamei with us, and she's from Canada. She will tell you a bit more about herself right now. Megan, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I remember like when we spoke, she asked me if my audience is familiar with what she's going to speak about, and I have to say no, I don't think so. So most of the things that I've heard her speak about is quite like very new for me and very interesting, so we are very excited about today. Megan, tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, what you're passionate about.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Albert, for having me on. I always, when someone wants to like dive deep into these things, I'm like, I love it. I love talking about these things. My passion is teaching. So anytime I get an opportunity to share this information, I'm so grateful to do that. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Here's a little bit about me. I'm a mom of two. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. If you don't know where that is, there's Vancouver and Toronto, and it's in the middle where nobody knows anything about us. And I've been teaching and coaching in this field for the past 5-ish years. And then I've been in sales and affiliate marketing and all of that kind of fun stuff for much longer than that. And what happened for me when I was a young girl, I always seemed to get what I wanted. And I grew up in a Christian church and a family, and it was explained, I was told I was anointed and that I had faith, I had the gift of faith. But if nobody explained it to me, and if you asked me how I did it, I didn't know. And it was later in life where I was introduced to Bob Proctor, and he explained a lot of what was happening in my life before in a way that I could understand. And then I obsessed over the material, studied it, and then here we are today, where I really love being able to explain what it is that I naturally, unconsciously was doing in order for other people to get the same result.
That's amazing. You know, if you look at the word, and you say they told you that you had a gift of faith. If you look at the word faith, it's of a Greek origin. That's the word pistis, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But the word pistis means to be persuaded, and I think that's what we want to teach people when it comes to the mind. It's not just about positive thinking. It's about, with all the good and the bad stuff that happens, you kind of have to be persuaded. Am I right if I say that?
I actually really appreciate you saying that, because I'll be transparent with you. One of the things that I see as a weakness sometimes for myself is I'm easily persuaded. And it was one of those things where this is not a good thing. It's like I hear an idea and I'm just like, oh, I'm like ready to jump on board. And but everything just is like, every idea, every object, every person, it just is. And then our perception of it is what gives it the meaning, whether it's good or bad and things. So we have qualities about ourselves that we can look at it as a negative or a positive. It can be a strength and a weakness. And so you just gave me a little bit of insight into that maybe I'm easily persuaded, but on the positive side, it makes me a very powerful manifester, because our ability to accept an idea and just know it's true, to the extent we can do that is to the extent we can really create and manifest and experience the things we want to experience. The quote, I don't know who said it, but something along the lines of like, the people that have the things that you don't have yet, or are experiencing what you're not experiencing, have just accepted ideas that you haven't yet. And so our ability to really just, because a lot of people, we can be very skeptical and doubt and all that kind of thing. And that can be useful. It's good to be discerning, but being able to be persuaded to take on, have faith and believe in something is a superpower when channeled and used in a positive way.
It's so interesting that you said as a young girl, you got whatever you wanted. Because Bob Proctor, I remember like the first time I listened to Bob Proctor, he made this statement. He said, what if I can tell you, you can have anything you want. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
I love that quote. And it's so true. And, what we think and believe creates our reality. So we have this idea like, oh, I need to be safe. I need to make sure that I'm smart and I don't like look like a fool and things like this. But if you understand that your thoughts create your reality and your beliefs create your reality, why don't you believe things that actually are are to your advantage and are going to give you the things you want. I would rather believe that I can have whatever I want, that I create my reality and have that experience, than try to like save face or something and not look like a fool, maybe because I'm believing something that is, isn't true or whatever. What I'm trying to say is choose beliefs that will give you the results that you want. I want to have an experience in this lifetime that I get what I want. I want to have an experience that the more money I spend, the more I make. I want to have an experience that everything's working out for my highest good and the highest good of all. It's important that we hone in those beliefs and choose the things that, we really want in our lives.
I don't know if you know who Ed Milet is. So,
I hear that.
Yeah, so it's also a guy who I listen to a lot. He also had Joe Dispenza and so a lot on his channel. And there's something that he said once, because, and he's also very successful in his field. And somebody said to him, but a person has to be realistic as well. And he said, well, the world has never been changed by realistic people.
No.
And yeah, that was also like a very, very nice quote. So I'm going to ask you something, and I just want to give the listeners kind of like an idea how I met Megan. I'm in sessions on Thursday evenings with a guy called Hendrik Foster, who's also been on our channel. And he also speaks about the different laws. And I remember this one evening he spoke about the law of gestation. And it's the first time I ever heard about it. So I wanted to do more or listen more on the law of gestation. And I just typed in randomly on YouTube the law of gestation, and there Megan's video came up on the law of gestation, and I made contact with her. And this is basically what we're going to speak about right now, the law of gestation. Megan, can you tell us a bit more about this law, and also, if you can, practically how it works?
I would love to. So I think I love studying the laws, and this one is, for me, it was relief. It was relieving. Relief, is that the right word? When I came across it, because I'll tell you right now, I would say I'm somewhat of an impatient person. And we want everything now. And we're in a society and culture where we get instant gratification. You drive up to a window and you get your food in 2 minutes. You can talk to your family across the world in 2 seconds by dialing your phone. Like we're getting so programmed and used to instantaneously getting things that, we want. And what the law of gestation says is that there is a given incubation period for a seed. So that seed can be a physical seed, but it can be a spiritual seed as well, or like in terms of like a thought or an idea. And so and all these different seeds, whether it's a carrot seed or, a baby or a thought seed, has a set amount of time for its maturation. We don't necessarily, some of the stuff we know a baby takes 280 days, a carrot takes like 12 days or whatever it is. But we don't really necessarily always know what a thought seed, how long that takes. And so what's required is having understanding, like there is laws of the universe, there's laws of nature, there's spiritual laws that we are governed by. And the law of gestation is one of those laws. But once we understand that, then we begin to work in harmony with it. So understanding the law of gestation is really valuable. So I'm really glad that we're going to talk about it today.
I like what you said about understanding the law helps you to, well, if we can use the word again, to manifest something. Because I remember one of the first, and you said learning about the law of gestation gave you comfort, and I remember it was like exactly the same thing with me. Because when we speak about mind, when we speak about emotions, when we speak about, even manifestation, a lot of times we like, people are like, I tried it, it didn't work, until you learn about the law of gestation. So yeah, tell us a bit about how this law of saying a seed takes time to grow, how it can help people. But also what I want to know is this is a waiting period, right? What do I do in my waiting period?
Okay. So in terms of understanding the law, so for example, when you say we're going to plant a carrot, you're going to get to your garden. And this is another thing to take in. We can talk a little bit later too. What's the condition of the soil that you're planting the seed in? But first and foremost, just the basics here is that you take the seed and you plant it in the soil. And then what is happening is that seed is the frequency, it's vibrationally aligned with a carrot. And we'll dive into vibration and stuff later. But everything is energy. If you zoom into everything, it's like all these atoms and electrons and everything that's made up of energy. And all that is vibrating on different frequencies. And what we tune into, therefore, is what we attract. So when we plant that seed, what's happening now is it is attracting everything on the frequency for that to manifest into a carrot. There is a time period that has to happen. The seed isn't, we don't get the carrot it's the instant we plant the seed. There is a time of the bringing in the nutrients in the soil, attracting all the things in the water and everything for the expansion of that seed into the manifestation of the carrot. What happens though in that process, what a lot of people are doing and why they think manifestation doesn't work, is they plant the seed and then 2 hours later they're going and like, where's my carrot? And then they might even like dig up the seed and like look for it. And like, there's an impatience there. There's a lack of faith that that the carrot is going to grow. But the natural operation of the universe, of nature, is that it will just on its own miraculous, however it all works, is that little seed is going to expand into a carrot. What we do in that period, that incubation period, is we're holding the faith. Basically, we're understanding and knowing we're going to get the carrot. Because if we do know that, if we do have that understanding, we're not going to be digging it up. We're not going to be getting upset that it's not coming. As soon as the seed is planted, it's a done deal. Now it's a process of natural occurrence for that carrot to come and grow out of the ground. Some of the things that we can do, the actions that we take in alignment with that knowingness that the carrot will grow, is we water the soil. And there might be some little weeds that sprout up around and we can pull those out. But we don't interfere with the natural process of nature, of how things work. And it's the same when we have the thought seed, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire. Or there's an incubation period for that to manifest. And we can get frustrated because we think we should be having it right away. And then we are asking, and then doubt's coming in. So things like doubt and fear and stress and impatience, that's equivalent to us digging in the soil and poking and prodding at that seed. Or abandoning that seed and being like, well, that's not working. It's only 2 days in and there's no carrot. That's not working. I'm going to go plant a corn seed or something. I'm going to go do something different. And people are, not allowing the time for that to happen because of that impatience, doubt, and fear. Because I would say it's just a lack of awareness to knowing how all this stuff works. If you have the thought, the idea, you plant it in a fertile mind and you incubate it. And the incubation, Neville Goddard calls it occupancy. He's if you haven't listened to his stuff, I highly encourage to do that. He has a video on YouTube called Feeling is the Secret. And he talks about that when we have the idea of what it is that we want, we live in the wish fulfilled. So we live as in the energy and the frequency and the vibration of it being here now, of us experiencing it now. So if you're making $2,000 a month right now and your goal is to be making $100,000 a month, or your vision is to be a millionaire, what does that feel like? We use feeling. Feeling is the word we've invented to describe the conscious awareness of the vibration that we're in. So we use our emotions and our feelings to get into that frequency and the vibration of the thing that we desire, the goal that we have. So we incubate the idea, we water the idea by feeling as if it's already done, right? In that knowingness, in that faith, we're occupying it, and we stay in that frequency. We know that it's happening. It's a done deal. The doubt doesn't come in, the fear doesn't come in, none of that kind of stuff. And then patience is required. And then we will see without fail that our idea or thought will manifest, or something even better, in its divine timing. And that's the part that we just don't know. We don't necessarily know how long it's going to take, but we got to be okay with that. And it is going to manifest for you for the highest good of you and of all. And just know that, and then water it. Feel good about it. live in the expectancy of its manifestation, and let the universe do its work.
So I wanna ask you something about this, because this is something I normally do when I pray for something, is I don't ask for it. I'm thankful for it. So a lot of times when I pray, I'm like, Lord, I thank you, and it's kind of like practicing gratefulness for it. Is that part of like, kind of like watering the seed, this whole idea of being thankful and grateful for it, instead of like keep on asking and trying for it?
Yes. And that is operating even with the law of assumption. So that is that it is assumed and known that it is already done. So a great way to explain this is like, if say you go to the dealership, you go and you look at some, I don't know, Mercedes, and you order your car, you buy your car, you sign the papers and everything. So it's done, but it's going to take a few days for them to do whatever they do and then deliver the car to you. So you go home, you know it's done. The car is not in your driveway, but you're thankful for it. You're excited. You're telling your family, I got the cars, everything. It's done. You're living you're cleaning out the garage and making space for it. You're not seeing the car physically with your eyes in your driveway, but you've claimed it. It's yours. And this is what most people are doing is like, it's a done deal, but then they go home and they don't see it in their driveway. And then they're like, it's not coming. Oh, please, I hope I get my car, and all this kind of like energy. And this is in growing up in the Christian church as well. This is where prayer, people got a little bit off track. It was like a please, I hope kind of energy. And prayer is, it is the claiming, it's the knowing, it's the ask and ye shall receive. Like, it is a done. Knock and the door is open to you. It's done. And having that faith, and even when Jesus would heal people, Jesus himself said, it's your faith that's healed you. They knew that they're in they knew their health, they knew their perfect healing. Their faith was possibly placed in Jesus, but it was really that shift in their own thinking that they were experiencing this healing experience. So yeah, it is what you're doing, where you're coming from a place of gratitude, being thank you so much that this is done, is ultimately, again, because now you're shifting onto that vibrational energy frequency of the wish fulfilled, of that it is, because if you had, because the law of attraction is a secondary law, the law of vibration is a primary. The law of vibration states that everything vibrates. We live in an ocean of motion, everything's energy. The law of attraction is that like attracts like. So the universe doesn't communicate with the words that you say. The language of the universe is vibration. So if you say you're struggling with health issues and you are asking to be healed, or you're wanting to be in a healthy state, the law of attraction is going to give you more of what you are. So if you are feeling, I'm sick, I'm not well, my body's hurting, I wish I was healthy, oh, would it be so nice to be healthy? If you were healthy, you wouldn't be wishing for health, because you have it. So you just in it and you're feeling it as if it's done, and then the law of attraction goes to work, and then you experience more and more of that in your life.
Something that's very interesting, and I don't know if you know this, I did study theology for a while, and I'm involved in my church now in the Bible school. So there was a time where I studied like some of the Greek and Hebrew words, and one fascinated me. You probably heard of the word repentance. Mm-hmm. So if you go look at the word repentance, and if you go look at it in the original Greek, it's the word metanoia. The word meta comes from the word metamorphosis, and noia comes from the word nous, which means your mind. So the word repentance literally means change your mind. Mm-hmm. And you like see it so many times, and it's this whole thing about if you want it, you have to change your mind, you have to think differently. And I think, this really connects so well. There's another thing I want to ask you, but before I get there, if people want to know more about you, if they want to watch some more of your material, where can they hear more and find out more?
Well, I'm mostly active on Instagram, so my handle is Megan S. Kamei, so you can find me on there. I also have a YouTube channel as well, and then I have my website, megankamei.com.
Awesome. So if you guys want to go check her stuff out, we just put it on the video, so you guys can go check that out. And then one thing that I want to ask you as well, maybe one final thought for today, and I just want to tell everybody I did ask Megan to be on our channel again next week, so we're going to do 2 videos, so next week you guys can tune in and watch again. I actually watched something of you today on YouTube where you spoke about, you don't have to be positive all the time. You don't have to be like excited all the time. And sometimes you're gonna have some negative emotions. So we just spoke about kind of like this incubation period, and you water it with your emotions, with your good emotions, with your expectation, with your gratefulness. So, but like you said, you don't have to be like in this positive, if we can call it vibration, all the time to get your manifestation. Can you maybe speak a bit about that? And then, how can we apply that with the watering of the mental seed that we have planted?
Okay. There's so much I can talk about this. I'm in my mind as you're asking the question, I'm like, how do I do this in a concise way? Because ultimately, we want to, I believe the number is, and I can't give you the name of where I learned this from at the top of my head, but to be in the vibration, in the positive energy or whatever, 51% of the time, just a little bit more than half, and we're on track, for the manifestation of what it is. So during the gestation period, it's a gift that we don't manifest instantly. As soon as you think of a pink elephant, it's going to show up in the room. We don't want that. We want time for us to work ourselves out, because we don't necessarily, we think we're super smart and we think we got all this, we know all the things, but the intelligence that has expanded into everything that is, I think probably has a better idea than us in this present moment, how things are to best work out for us. So if, for example, if a baby, that egg is fertilized and it's growing and it's incubating in this time, if it were to be brought out early, it's not good for the baby. So our ideas and the things that we want, if they're brought out early, it's not necessarily going to be the best thing for us. So that's why we need to trust in the gestation period and the time. So in that time of gestation, we are working through things, and there can be emotions that come up for us that don't feel good. Negative emotions. We might have fears. We might have altercations with people or difficulties in relationships. What is happening is it's working out what needs to be worked out. So there might be, for example, we have the thought idea that we want to have this company that operates all around the world, and we've got 300 employees, and we're doing all this kind of stuff. We're making millions of dollars. But you react and get so frustrated and have an emotional explosion when someone cuts you off in traffic. How are you going to handle a company with 300 employees dealing with each of these people and all the different problems that they're going to bring to the table? You don't have the emotional strength to do it. So those negative things that happen and the negative stuff that's going on is a gift. No, like all these different emotions, they're not good or bad. They just are, and they serve different purposes. So the way that you make it actually be a gift and where you gain wisdom is when you experience that negative emotion. Say someone cuts you off in traffic and you get angry. Take that and be like, instead of being like just exploding in anger and being mad at that person and saying they're such an idiot and they're so terrible, blah, 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 and then you're grumpy all day long. Have the insight to think about, what is going on within me that I'm reacting with anger to this situation? Because that same situation can happen to another person and they remain completely calm. So those emotions that come up that are what we label as negative are actually our greatest teachers and our greatest gifts that are showing us what we need to deal with, heal from, get rid of, or whatever, in order to get onto the frequency and be able to handle the manifestation that we say that we want. So during that incubation gestation period, we're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff happen, because you're likely not ready for the thing you say that you want. So the universe is helping you work through that. And that happens through a lot of seemingly negative experiences. They're teaching us what we need to know in order to be able to move forward.
Wow. Okay, one last question. And I think this is more something I want your opinion on. Do you believe that the bigger the seed or the bigger the thing you want, the longer the gestation period is, or not necessarily?
I would say generally yes, but not necessarily. It depends on the individual. And because some people's capacity, like I said, to accept an idea, to shift onto a frequency, Abraham Hicks says, if you could instantly shift your vibration, you can manifest instantly. It's usually, though, it's the individual it takes them time to get onto the frequency of what they want. And this is something that, we're going to talk about, I think, on the next thing. But if your goal or your dream is, let's call it big, and this is all relative, right? Like, what's a big goal and what's a small one? But let's say it's a big goal. And it is for you to be able to hold space for that goal that you have, it's going to probably take more time for you to become that person than if the goal was smaller. So I would say in general, it will likely look that way, that like, say, for example, I think the gestation period for a mouse is around like 16 days. The gestation period for a human is around 280 days. And the gestation period for an elephant is around 600 and something days. So we see it in nature that there is that difference. So it would seem likely that that's like that in terms of our dreams and our goals.
That was so amazing. I love that last part. It was so good. Megan, Kamei, thank you so much for being here. We're really looking forward to next week as well. We are very excited, and we do believe that many people have learned something. And I do want to say, if it seems like you are waiting long, maybe your manifestation is just going to be a bit bigger than what you thought. Megan, thank you so much. It was so great to have you here. And thank you for everybody that was watching. And we are both excited to see you guys again next week. From Mind Prosperity, we love you, and we'll see you soon again. Goodbye.